welcome. If you're new, I'm so grateful to have you all here. I hope that you are enjoying fall. It's really pretty here today, and I'm just loving it. I'm not ready for winter, so I'm hoping this weather hangs on. I wanted to talk today about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, about how it affects me individually. If you've never heard of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I have the hypermobility type. And Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a group of genetic disorders which are caused by a defect in the protein collagen. Collagen is the glue that holds our bodies together. It's what gives our tissues their strength. And this fibrous protein, it connects and supports tissues in the body, including skin, bone, muscles, tendons, cartilage, and organs. So as you can imagine, if it's faulty, if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, it can cause a lot of problems. So I have the hypermobility type, as I said, and it causes loose, unstable joints. That's where the hypermobility comes from. It's just excessive mobility in the joints, and they're prone to frequent dislocations and or subluxations. Subluxations are just partial dislocations. I don't have many dislocations. My jaw will dislocate and my SI joints in my lower back, but for the most part, it is subluxations for me, and I get those from my neck to my hips. I don't have to wear braces, thankfully, besides the neck brace, which I'm trying to take a break from, for a couple hours a day. I've made it to a couple hours a day. I'm very grateful for that. So I have joint pain as a result of the hypermobility, and then I do have that early onset osteoarthritis, which is quite common in this community. So it affects my musculoskeletal system in the aspect that when the ligaments are loose, there's extra strain on the soft tissues. And when these tear, can cause tendonitis. I've got tendonitis in both my forearms. And so it just never healed from a car accident in both arms. The sprains are it's very common to get sprains, strains, muscle and bone pain. Sorry about my crazy dog, if you can hear her. Muscle spasms, that is a big one for me. The ligaments that are supposed to be supporting, say, my neck, are not doing what they're supposed to do, so my muscles try to step in and do it, and they stay contracted and spasmed. So I get muscle spasms, as I said, in my neck. I sometimes will get that spasmy feeling in my jaw area, a lot actually, and I get it in my rib cage. I have it in my feet. I'll get spasms in my legs, and so yeah, just lots of spasms. Costochondritis I get, and that is basically inflammation of your sternum, so it causes chest pain. I also get neuropathic pain, and that is as a result of problems with the signals from the nerves. And it feels like, so my neuropathic pain is felt in my feet, hands, the base of my skull, or like the top of my neck, and it just feels like burning, a lot of burning, especially in the neck area, stinging, numbness, tingling, pins and needles. It's really bad in my feet, and it's worse in the winter. So I have to really work hard to keep my feet warm, I noticed. So it affects my skin. It causes me to bruise very easily. I mean, I will look down at my arm or something and be like, where did this bruise come from? And it will stay. Like, it takes forever to heal. That's another thing, it's slow healing time. And the scars that I have, like, say, from surgery, they're very pronounced. So yeah, lots of bruising, easy bruising, slow healing time, and very pronounced scarring. It isn't that classic, mine isn't that classic real stretchy elastic, I wouldn't say. It is just, it's slightly, but not, not anything like real impressive. So it of course affects my autonomic nervous system. I've talked about the dysautonomia and the POTS. It's those body functions that are normally, those that we're not normally conscious of, it dysfunctions. And so dysautonomia in POTS, of course, I experience. Sleep is a huge part of this for me. I have a lot of sleep issues, or I have had. I've got a good regimen worked out right now that's working for me, but due to the adrenaline issues, falling asleep and staying asleep can be quite the challenge. And when I do fall asleep, those high adrenaline levels result in a shallow, vivid, dreamlike sleep, and it's just very shallow. It feels like you haven't slept, basically. It also causes lightheadedness when standing, orthostatic intolerance. So just being upright, I have to really pace myself when I'm going to be upright, and just take it slow, really, and pace myself. Headaches are the worst, my biggest complaint, my most challenging issue with because of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. When you have those lax joints, you're more prone to headaches, and migraines are very common in the Ehlers-Danlos community, and because they can be triggered by blood pressure changes, hormone changes. Migraines and headaches can also occur because of the chronic neck strain. And autonomic nervous problems can cause dehydration, therefore causing headaches. Sometimes the muscles that control the eyes are loose, and it causes difficulty, with focusing, therefore causing those strained headaches. So, the instability of the upper cervical vertebrae can compress nerves and blood vessels, causing all of those lovely symptoms, severe headaches that I've talked about when I did my headache series. So I have the pseudotuberous cerebri, which is basically just or intracranial hypertension. It's a buildup of the CSF fluid. The atlantoaxial instability, craniocervical instability, migraines, of course, TMJ pain that causes headaches, the occipital neuralgia type pain because of the impingement of the nerves and the compression and the damage back there in that area in my neck. And so I'll get occipital neuralgia type headaches. Of course, I'll get muscle tension type headaches, and then pain from headaches from the pain that I have in my neck. For hearing, I also have hearing issues, and it can actually be as a result of the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it's basically because of the bones in the middle ear. That hypermobility there can cause problems with the sound conduction, and so you can have mild to moderate hearing loss. Mine is very mild, thankfully, and also I experience, of course, dizziness and balance issues, since the inner ear is responsible for those. Vision, as far as vision goes, I experience blurred vision, double vision, light sensitivity, tunnel vision, floaters, flashes of light, dry eye, and then I've got the blue sclera, which doesn't affect me, but it is nonetheless, it was part of my diagnostic, how my geneticist diagnosed me. I have had to use Restasis. I use eye drops several times a day, and the topical steroid drops or gel that you can put in your eye. I've had to use that because of the long-term dryness. It will cause inflammation. Also, because of there's so much collagen. I forget. My eye doctor explains it great, but basically because there's so much collagen that has to do with your eyes, it can cause your muscles in your eyes to be loose. And in my right eye, it has caused strabismus, and so my eye will try to drift. And it's not all the time, it's when I'm trying to focus on something up close. So I have these prism lenses, which have helped a lot. I still wear my contacts just for my being nearsighted anyway, but these have prisms in them that help with that. My eye wanting to wander. And then I've been through some therapy to help strengthen those muscles. I need to continue doing that. But yeah, so it can definitely cause a lot of vision problems. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the hypermobility type, can make the intestines stretch too easily. So it causes bloating. I get a lot of the bloating, a lot of the nausea, occasional vomiting, heartburn, IBS, hiatal hernia, and reflux. I also have the difficulty swallowing. So it definitely affects the GI system. Some other things, ways that it affects me would be, I have scoliosis in my thoracic spine. It can cause anxiety and panic. Basically those adrenaline highs and lows. And anxiety can be caused, of course, by emotional stress. However, the symptoms have a physical cause often, such as pain, stress, fatigue. And so, it can be because of a physical reaction. So I know with me, when I'm having a really high pain day, my anxiety can be worse as a result. And so, but if it is something that's manageable for me, it's not something that's a big problem. I have, of course, the chronic debilitating musculoskeletal pain. You can have dysmenorrhea, so painful menstrual cycles. I had a hysterectomy, so I don't deal with that any longer, but it used to be a big challenge. Clubfoot is something that I am not quite sure if it's directly related, but I did have clubfoot as a baby and had that corrected, but it was something that my geneticist took into account when he made the diagnosis. Surgical complications, I will have difficulty with intubation, and chronic fatigue is another one. So yeah, that is how Ehlers-Danlos affects me, symptoms that I have. If you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or if you maybe are thinking that you have it, feel free to share below. And I just really appreciate you guys being here. It would mean a lot to me if you give me a thumbs up. That would help me out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll be notified when I upload next. And I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. Bye.